We had the league fixtures come out for the teams this week, and even another trip to London again. I think you enjoyed it quite a bit a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was grand. Yeah, I suppose it was nice to get away, but we'd be hoping just to try and win every game Division 4 and just get out there as quickly as possible. You know, we don't want to be down there. You know, we want to be up in Division 2 and 3. You know, competing. So hopefully we just go over and get the job done over there and come back with the win.
Because, you know, as dire as things have gone, it's not that long ago that you went up to play a Pat Flanagan managed Westmeath side. Had you won in Mullingar on that day, you would have been promoted to Division 2.
Yeah, and it was just a kick at the ball at the end of the day. It was only a point we lost by, and the space of 2 years we're back down in Division 4, you know, so it's crazy the way things can go, but hopefully we can get a manager sorted now in the next couple of weeks, and, you know, we can get to the semi-finals and the county final hopefully and get a look at players, but hopefully lads go back in training and we take the year seriously.
I suppose that's a real priority, just to have a manager in place now, maybe even to have a look at the county final if he's coming from outside particularly. Yeah,
of course, and as you said earlier, you know, it only took Mayo 2 weeks to get a manager appointed after James Horan stepped down, you know, and we're out of the championship since the 21st of June, so it's nearly 4 months and we still have a manager, so I don't know what to be at in there, but hopefully we get it sorted soon anyways.
And we'll see if you're training in Mullingar or where you're going to be training for next year. Peter O'Leary, you travelled to Westmeath as it works out in the first round of the league, Laois against Westmeath, and I was looking at your fixtures. You have a very tricky run of games. Division 2 is extremely competitive this year.
Yeah, like it didn't, even with Donegal going up and that, it didn't really get any easier. Like just Meath and I think it was Cavan that came.
It was Cavan Roscommon who came up and Kildare and Westmeath came down.
Yeah, so I suppose it didn't really get much easier for us. Like few local matches there with Westmeath and Kildare, all right, but I was just looking at them there. I think we have a good bit of travelling to them. I think the most of the further teams away we have to travel away to them, so we didn't really get much. I suppose we didn't get much luck with the home and away fixtures, but we'd be hoping to, you know, push on a little bit and do a bit better than we did in the league last year. Like we got off to a bad start with Donegal. I know it was a home match first, but I suppose we knew Donegal were going to come raring to get back to Division 1. It probably wasn't the best match to have to start last year and kind of knocked us back a little bit at the start. But
the aim would be not to go down to the final day having to get a result like last year.
Yeah, that's it. Granted, when the pressure was on, we kind of pulled together and dug out a result, but you'd like to not be on that pressure in the last day of the season again.
Obviously, you know where you're going this year. It's just a year or two of Tomas's project, and there were some good performances from you last year, but I suppose a very poor way to go out of the championship the way you played against Tipperary for most of that game.
Yeah, I suppose we were, I'd say, probably the new word to describe us would have been nearly inconsistent. Like we could play spectacular one day and then it could come, and as I seen first half there against Tipperary, it just fell apart altogether. Like we were just so open, and kind of took us a long time. Well, the game was over by the time we figured it out. We kind of got back to a point or two down, but I'd say we ran out of legs at that stage and just trying to get it back, and they pushed on again. But yeah, it's probably something we'll need to look at again and see if we can rectify it and get consistent, like, and push on from there.
Maybe just find a bit of a balance in play as well for next year.
That's it, like.
Well, Anton, you've got a big game coming up at Road against Clara. A very interesting rivalry has developed between the two clubs in recent years, with finals and semi-finals as you played each other in. You were in really good form in the group stages. You scored over 100 points, but the thing is, you've had 5 weeks off. One will wonder if that's going to be a disadvantage.
Yeah, it's been tough, you know. You win your group and you have to wait 5 weeks to play another game. You know, it's not much of an incentive, but you know, training's been going well, and we've played a few challenge matches, so we're in good shape and we're all raring to go next Sunday to play Clara.
Would you prefer the quarter final rather than the wait?
We probably would have, yeah. Maybe a game wouldn't have done us any harm, but as I said, we've got good challenge games under our belt, so they should set us up nicely for next Sunday.
Should be a very interesting game between you, because I was very impressed. I don't know if you were in at Clara against Tullamore, where particularly Graham Guilfoyle is going to take a lot of watching. He's in great form this year. Yeah,
Graham's a good footballer, you know, so we're going to have to keep tabs on him. But you know, there's other lads. John O'Hara's back playing well, and the two Bradys are in midfield. John Reynolds, Thomas Dean, you know, so they're all going to take watching. They're good footballers. So, but we'll focus on our own game and what we've to do, and hopefully that'll set us up nicely.
Well, Peter, you're the captain of Dempsey's. You have a chance now to reply to what Jack Nolan said earlier. He reckoned that Dempsey's would have preferred Greg Cullen or Artis Killeen. The Portlaoise would have been the last team you would have wanted.
Well, I suppose that's the obvious statement to make, really. Like, they won 7 in a row. It's fairly obvious that you'd like to avoid them in the semi-final anyway, when there's a chance of 2 other teams out of 3, you'd be hoping that you wouldn't get Portlaoise, but we got them in the quarter final last year, and probably a little bit unlucky, but like watching them play there last night, and took them a while to get going, but I suppose when they did get going in the second half, they kind of turned on the style in the space of 20 minutes and turned the 6-point deficit and looking to be going over to, I think we're 5-6 points up then after 10 or 15 minutes, so they obviously got their act together, but look, sure, I don't really think it makes any difference getting them in the semi-final. If you want to win the Laois Championship, you're going to have to beat, the only way to win it is you have to beat Portlaoise, and that's it. Like, it's either semi-final, you're going to meet them in the final either way, so that's the only way to go at it.
We were talking to Zach Toohey earlier, and he kind of played down the 14-point turnaround in the second half, particularly that 10-point swing just after half-time, 3-1 without reply. But I mean, that's remarkably impressive to be able to do that, because there's a lot of people coming off at half-time last night who felt Portlaoise were in trouble for the first time here in a few years.
Well, yeah, I'd say everyone from Portlaoise even thought they were being bothered, like they were probably being dominated for 20 minutes of the first half, and when you look at a match, you kind of see if things are going wrong. You can see like that, there is a way back, or you're creating the chances and they're just not working out. Like, but just nothing was going right for them in the first half, and it was actually hard to see what they could do to turn around, because they'd made a few changes, say with 10 minutes to go in the first half, and they hadn't worked out at that point. But they made a few positional changes, say at half time, like they brought Carr out to centre back and things like that, and that, like they cut out Port's long ball, that they didn't really change. They stayed kicking in long ball and kind of played into Portlaoise's hands maybe a bit in the second half. But then again, they only had one game, I suppose, one game in the championship, or whatever you want to call it.
And it's struggled a bit against Emo as well. So
yeah, like they haven't really had much football. Like, they probably played a few practice matches, but they've had nothing to kind of get a bit of a rhythm going. So it's not really any wonder that it took them that long to get going.
And you guys were very good on Friday. Scored 5 goals, which is fair going. And you have a couple of exiles coming back into your team as well. Was it first game for one of the Merediths in 5 years, I think you were saying?
Yeah, 2000, I think 6 years or something like that, is it? Yeah, 2008. That was back. He was teaching in Korea and doing a bit of travelling across in Canada and things like that. But yeah, it's nice to have him back. Like, we have probably a full first time in. It is the first time in the 6 years that we have everyone that we have available to pick from now, so like, now is the time really. I'm sure
people make you underdogs, but you have as many county players on your team as any other team left in the championship now at this stage.
I wouldn't be too much into the county player side of it, but yeah, look, sure, we'd be hopeful that we can give them a good run for it the next day.
It'll make for a very interesting semi-final in a couple of weeks' time. Peter and Anton, many thanks for coming in and watching the All-Ireland final with us. I can only apologise for how poor the fare was.